Well, hello again. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I've been having a lot of fun with this Xbox since it was modded, and I've got quite a few emulators on it, and I'm totally glad that I resurrected this from the junk pile in my storage room. However, it runs quite hot, and I thought, let's do something dumb and something right up my alley. Look at this. We got ourselves a water cooler, and I've already watched a couple of videos on YouTube of people who have done this mod, and I'm thinking I can do this mod. So stick around. Let's tear this thing apart again, and yeah, let's see if we can't get this mod installed. All right, I'm just going to get this thing torn down. I'm not going to bother filming it because it's been done a million times. So I'll bring you back once I have the covers all torn off and I'm ready to sort of investigate how I'm going to get this water cooler installed. Yeah, it's amazing how fast this comes apart when you actually know what you're doing. It was just a couple of minutes to get the covers off, a few more minutes to get the board out. So moving along real nice. So now what I got to figure out, it looks like these they have hex heads, so it looks like they're threaded. And I'm going to attempt to pull those off and see if they can go back through the board so that this X clamp will sort of stay on. And then in this kit, there's a bunch of different mounts. I got to see if I can find something that's going to match this layout of these retention the retention mechanism holes here. If not, I have some other stuff in boxes from old water cooling kits, some old all-in-ones, and I'll see if I can figure something out that's going to make this thing mount and make proper contact. And then we're going to worry about how do we cut this. I mean, I know how I'm going to cut it. I'm going to use a Dremel, but I want to make it look somewhat decent. And yeah, and then I'm going to probably end up mounting the rad something up here. So maybe the tubes will come out or whatever, and then I'll mount the rad on some standoffs, just using the plastic as a base, and I'll just put some threaded holes or whatever. And yeah, anyway, let's get you back in the stand and let's figure these standoffs and what comes with the kit and all that good stuff. All right, so it just so happens that this nut driver actually fits these. So yeah, it appears that they're threaded. So there's one, and there's two. However, I'm just noticing a problem here. These aren't going to work for me. These would go through the board like so. However, there's nothing to put, like I was thinking there'd be a threaded hole at the top. I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to put these here so I don't lose them. And let's get this kit opened up. All right, let's see what we got here. What's this thing? Oh, this is a fan header with RGB header on it. I didn't even know this kit came with that. Yeah, I think I'll put that away for later. I don't think I'm going to use it on this, but interesting. I didn't realize it came with that. Okay, so let's get out the actual, sorry for the crinkling. And there's the parts bag, and it looks like everything else. There's some instructions. Oh, yeah, it talks about the fan and RGB controller. Let's just put that here for now. Let's have a look. What do we got? Right. So there's the radiator, and Yeah. Do these pivot? They do pivot. Okay, that's good. And let's have a look inside this bag. So here's our plate. And this plate has some interesting mechanisms on it. So this plate, what does it do? It must go over. How would that work? Is this supposed to go over the CPU? And then this just goes on here? I mean, I could look at the instructions, but okay, we got okay, wait. We got some other. This is looking more familiar now. Okay. Okay, so let's bring this board over here. So those are too big. And those are I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Oops, sorry, as I kick the stand over. So if you look at the hole placement, those are too big. Those are too small, technically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig around in my parts bin. I have a bunch of other water cooling stuff. Let me see what I can find as far as something to hold this on. We may have to fabricate something or make some jank or whatever. I'll be back in a second. All right, so here's what I've come up with. If I take the long brackets that mount in the pump block like this, and I take and I drill a hole in the appropriate spot here, and whoops, this is magnetized. So basically here and here, so that the distance is correct. And then I'm just gonna cut off this part because I don't need it on both sides. This will fit the hole placement either way that I go, and it's kind of hard to place it there because these are in the way. But anyway, trust me, trust me, bro. It'll fit, and it ends up being equidistant on both sides when it's in the pump block. So let me take this up to my drill press, and I will drill a hole in the appropriate spots. I'm going to get my caliper and just measure the center and lock it so I have it to do this. And then, yeah, I also have these little standoffs that were from this. And by the way, when I was fumbling around with this is a back plate. I'm so dumb. I knew it was a back plate, but I couldn't figure out where the hell it went. Of course it goes on the back. That's what they're for. This won't fit here at all. So I just pulled, you can see there's the metal retention mechanisms in there. I pulled one out. So that'll go through the back of the board like so. And I may have to shorten this a little bit because we have these retention screws with the springs, like most all-in-ones have. So that's what I'm going to use to hold this water block on. Okay, I'll see you at the drill press. Okay, I'm set up for the first hole. This bracket material is rather hard, so I don't know if I'm going to drill through it or burn through it. So let's give it a shot. Oh yeah, that was stupid simple. Okay, so let me do go from center to center here. So we're going to be pretty much in the same spot on the other side. And of course, I can drill the hole a little bit oversized. So got some fudge room here. So I'll put that one maybe just a bit more here. Yeah. There we go. Good. Let me measure my distance here. That's not too shabby. It's just maybe a half a millimeter off, but what I'll do is I will take the drill bit out and I'm going to do just a slightly bigger bit. Okay, and let me do this one. Excellent. Okay, you get the drift, right? I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to cut these. I'm going to cut those tabs off because we don't need them. And boom, we will have our mounts made. Okay, I'll see you back down at the board. Okay, that's not too shabby. I've got the holes lining up, good enough anyway. So I'll get those brackets back on this mount, and then I'll work on the I don't know what you call it, Z-axis, I guess, so that when I actually get the retention mechanism screwed down, that we're putting some half decent pressure on that CPU. All right, check it out. I wouldn't call it absolutely perfect. A couple of these are on a little bit of an angle, but this is like, it's on there. It's got some pretty decent pressure. It's not going to go anywhere. I won't worry too much that I got the spacing of the hole slightly wrong, but that's okay. It's fine. I believe this cover goes something like this on this in this orientation right here. So I'll have to cut out a piece to make that fit. And then what I need to do is get I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I saw some videos online where they cut this entire section out. And honestly, that would be the easiest thing to do because that would probably give me room for the tubes to come out. And then I could, mount my rad with some big standoffs right here. But I'm not sure yet. I want to figure this out. Maybe try to make it look a little better. Not sure yet. I'll do some fiddling around and then I'll bring you back when I got a plan here. Okay, it's a couple days later. Life got in the way, as it usually does for me. So let me show you what I've got other than this massive mess. Oh my God. Okay, let me just put you in the stand over here, and then I'll, just so it's not, too wobbly of a video. Okay, so this is, I actually had the pump block on the board in a previous shot. I had the tubes at the top. That was actually wrong. I had it backwards in my head. So this is how it goes. This is still on there really, really solid. The spring pressure is what's holding this block on, which is how it should be. So here's the metal lid that goes over this, like so. And just make sure I've got it fully on. Yeah, I do. Okay. And here's what I've come up with for the rad. So you can see I've got some standoffs, and I'm gonna have the fan so that it's sucking air in and pulling and blowing it out that way. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So I've just cut 2 small holes in the thing, in the cover, and then this can go on like so, and it fits. And I've got a rad there. When I'm ready to fill this, I'm going to fill it so that, like, one tube is on and the other tube is in. I'll use a big syringe at first, and I'll just start filling the loop until it fills this up. This is a fill port on this all-in-one, which was kind of nice. So you can't see it. The plug and seal is over there. It's a threaded hole. There's a rubber gasket. So yeah, I'll fill this with a big syringe, and then if there's a tiny bit of air, it's not a big deal. It's totally fine. And then yeah, and then that'll basically go something like this, right? And then I'm not going to push them on all the way. I'm going to leave the tubes long, even though I could technically shorten them up. And then, like I said, I'm going to put the fan so that it's blowing, sucking air through. So this will go something like that, and that's essentially how this water cooler is going to look. Of course, I got to run the power for the fan inside the unit, and I'm going to have to sacrifice my cable here because I don't have. Well, I actually shouldn't say that. I should dig around. I may have a connector just like this that I can reuse, and I have some hardware that you can make your own wires. Like you can put the pins that fit in these connectors. I'll see what I can find. If not, I'll just pull this off. It's no big deal. Um, red and black is going to be obviously my power, and one of these should be the RPM, and the other one is something to do with PWM. I'm gonna have to look that up. This power is also 4-wire power, so I'll look up the pinout and I'll figure out which is power and ground, and which one is RPM and which one is the PWM, and I'll try and solder this together. And I've got I got a bunch of shrink tube. I actually have tons of shrink tube, but I got some of this stuff. This will work, so I'll make it look kind of nice, and I'll just make it follow the wire and back into the console, and I think that'll work out pretty nice. So we are coming along really good. I think I got a solid plan. This rad may end up being slightly taller than when you put this part on. It's going to end up being slightly taller, but that's okay. I prefer to run my Xbox on its side. That's just the way I do it. And even though I put the tubes at the bottom so that you could actually run it this way, and even that would work because if there was a little bit of an air bubble, it'll be at the top, which is completely fine with an all-in-one. Typically, you put your input and your in and out, you put it at the bottom of the rad just for exactly that reason. But even like this, it'll be fine. There'll be enough pressure going through that it'll force it back out that hole, and it'll be fine. So, okay, let me continue on. I'm going to get set up to kind of get this ready to rock and roll, and I will film what I film as I go along. Okay, so I looked this up. Here's the fan. Oops, I just got thermal paste all over everything. Of course I did. Here's the fan connector. There's the key. And what am I, 12? There's the key. So it goes in order. Ground, that says plus 12. It's kind of hard to read. Plus 12, TAC, PWM. The fan wire is the same deal. It's ground, plus 12. This thing's not cooperating. Yellow is TAC and blue is PWM. So I will reuse this. I'm noticing that this was soldered at the factory, which is kind of odd. But I guess this must have been a fan with a regular connector. I don't know. Maybe the factory just does that. So I'm going to harvest this connector, and I will go ahead and just get the things all soldered up on the wires. And what I'm going to do, let me just orient the camera a different way here. Let's bring this down. I'm going to, because this fan is this fan wire is quite long. Sorry, you can't see what I was doing. This fan wire is quite long. Let me zoom out. There we go. This fan wire is quite long. So I'm going to run this fan wire down, and I will create the connection here with, because this is only a 3-wire connector. I'll have to figure out, obviously one's going to be plus 12, one's going to be grounded, one's going to be something. I assume it'll be tack. Unless this is a PWM pump, I'm not really sure. It could be no tack and just PWM. So I'll figure this out, and then. But either way, I don't care. I'll just run this at full speed, 12 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this connector and I'm going to leave myself enough slack here so that I can put the whole thing in the case on and have this like with some slack, and then I'll just like stuff it down and connect it to this with like little zip ties or whatever, or maybe even some shrink tubing. I'm not sure yet. So anyway, long story short, the point I'm trying to make here is that I will be able to connect both of these together with this on the pin header on the board, and then we'll get 12 volts to here, and we'll get a fan running properly. Okay, let's get at it. Okay, I'm getting ready to rock and roll here. I've got the connector from the original connector soldered to a pin header, and that will allow me to disconnect this fan, this external fan, so it'll be able to go through the cover, and then making sure that my polarity is correct, which would be this way. I can connect that, and I will have power to the pump, power to the fan, so that's good. I've also put some heat sinks on the RAM, so that should help bring the RAM temperature down. The cooling should, the water cooling should keep that CPU in check. I'm going to start putting this together. I'm going to peel that off. And then, yeah, I'm not going to have, like, this is an RGB thing. I don't care about lights on this. I'm not going to use it. So I'm just going to stick this somewhere out of the way. And whoops, you guys weren't in. Yeah, so that's supposed to be RGB. I don't care about it. I'll move that out of the way. Probably over here somewhere where the hard drive is. And yeah, so I got to start getting some of the internal stuff in. So I got to put the hard drive tray in and a bunch of other stuff and start getting this thing ready to get the covers put back on. And then we will, yeah, and then we'll fill the loop. And that'll pretty much be, that'll be the deal right there. Okay, one sec. Okay, here it is in all its glory. It needs a wipe down. So the machine is back together. I still haven't filled it yet, so I'm going to do that. And we can put it like this if we want, and that'll be fine. So you can see that the rad does kind of stick up a little bit, but that's totally fine. I am gonna, whoops, I always point the camera off into nowhere. I am gonna end up just running it like I normally do, which is on its back. And yeah, so let me get you set up in the camera mount, and let's fill this thing and try and get as much of the air out as possible. I'm going to end up sticking some cloths and stuff here, and I'm going to actually put that tube on all the way, and then I'm going to use that big syringe, and I'm going to fill, so it'll go down through the pump into the rad and just keep filling until I see it come up to here, and then I'm going to just quickly put that on there, and I'm going to call that good enough. It's okay if there's a little bit of a little air bubble in there. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, let's get you on the stand and let's get this thing filled. Okay, get some kind of protection down. Let's put this tube. Oh, I want to cut this a little straighter because it's kind of on an angle here. Try not to slice my hand completely open, or my thumb open. I don't know. I think YouTube doesn't want gore. Yeah, that's close enough. Okay, so let's get this bad boy pushed on. Okay, There's one. And then this syringe that I have is really, it's really stiff. So let's see what kind of mess I can make here. Let's see if I can get that pushed on. Okay, good. Okay, hopefully I'm not blocking you too much here. Okay. Let's just leave that like so. Hopefully it doesn't pour through. Let's get some more fluid. Okay. Let's get some more going here. These all-in-ones, they don't actually hold a lot. So I don't know how many this is going to take. Let's get some more in here. I need a new syringe. This one's really, really stiff. Hard to use. Okay. Let's get that bad boy on there. Oh, looks like we have, yeah, we've got fluid coming through already. Okay, so I'm going to just try and tilt it up just a hair. Yeah, there's some air coming out. I know you guys can't really see, but yep, there we go. That's good. I'm going to call that good enough. And let's put this bad boy on there. Good. And then, oh, as I clunk my head, let's put this seal in. And we shall grab this stopper, bung, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And we'll just try and get this cleaned up as much as we can. And there's this little, I think it's just for show, really. Okay. So, I still have to deal with this in some way, which is not a big deal. I'll do something with that. Okay, let me just get a little bit of this mess cleaned up, and I'll get this all hooked up to the TV, and we'll turn it on for the first time and see what explodes. Okay, I just hustled cleaning up. It's connected. I genuinely have not turned it on. So, here we go. Let's see what happens. Ready to rock and roll. We got a fan. Let's see if we get a screen. We got a screen. That's good. The only problem is I guess I'll have to check the heat from the rad. I don't currently have any way of knowing if that pump is actually running. But in theory, oh, the pump's running. I can hear it. The pump is running. Okay, excellent. So, we can also go like this if we really, really want to. Whoops. That's the downfall of these soft touch buttons when you're moving this console around. Okay, so if there is any air in the system, it's up here right now, which is totally fine because our in and out are at the bottom. So I guess what I'll do now is it's on, it's running. I haven't broken it. I can definitely hear the pump running. Fans obviously spinning. Let me just fire up a game and just do a little bit of gaming, and then I'll see if there's any heat on that rad. So far, success. I'm quite happy. And then I do have a screenshot of the temps before, so I will put a side-by-side up on the screen here in just a sec. So let me just fire up some game and stress this thing out for a while. I'll be right back. All right. Been playing Test Drive Unlimited for about 20 or so minutes. the temperatures are definitely lower than before. I'm going to put on the side-by-side on the screen right now so you guys can have a look. But totally success. And yep, the rad is warm. I can feel the heat, so the pump's working. I can hear the pump working, but I know it's working. Rad's got some heat to it, and it's quiet. Like, I could barely hear this thing. So I think this is so far a success. And I just got to tidy this up a little bit. And yeah, this is awesome. All right, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun. I really enjoyed doing this one. Nice little bit of a challenge, and a bunch of soldering and some figuring out and tinkering, and yeah, it's right up my alley. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, you are an absolute rock star. As always, if you think I'm worthy, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all in the next one.